Good morning. It's Dave Morrison coming to you from the Hobo Dojo here in very sunny Southern California. It's a little cold here, but it is quite bright out, as you can probably see in the window. Okay, anyway, got a couple things I want to run through with you today. And primarily I want to talk to you about my fundraising effort with Heifer International. Then I want to mention my album to you in case anybody might want to buy one of those, since things have sort of helped me get through the winter. And then I want to talk about the Trump GoFundMe page. But first, let's talk about Heifer. This is Heifer International. This is a coffee cup they sent me a couple of years ago as an appreciation. This is what they sent me this year, just a little postcard, and with a note on the back, handwritten by my friend Amy O'Malley there, and she says, "Dave, thank you for all you're doing to help heifer families. The impact is far-reaching and life-changing. We hope this holiday season is brighter than ever as you think of the difference you're making. We appreciate you, Amy O'Malley." And I appreciate you if you help a little bit. I appreciate you anyway, but I'll appreciate that much more if you do. And I appreciate all the friends that help me here. If you go to the page that I will link below, you'll see some of my regulars who are there and the amount of money they've given. A lot of them, they've been doing this with me for a long time, so they kind of save their money up, and they'll give like $100. I don't expect $100 from any of you guys out there. Not that I think you're poor hobos living in motor homes somewhere like me. They might be called the Hobo Dojo or some damn thing. No. I assume you have more money than I do. Still, a $10, $20, $25 donation is super great. And what Heifer is they're based in Little Rock, Arkansas. They have a little facility there if you want to go visit them and say, hey, one of these days. They've got an educational farm there on the property, and they'll explain to you everything that they do, or you can go to their website. Or I will also, below in the comments of this, I will link a website, not a website, a video that was done by Alton Brown from the Food Network that in just about 2 minutes really explains it quickly. So I'll link that in the comments below. But anyway, I've been with Heifer for a number of years now. So I think I told you all that. I don't know, because I started this video over again. So I'll tell you real quick again. We've been doing it this is our 7th year. Cows for Christmas. We took 1 year off to build a roof on an orphanage in Uganda, and we came back. So this is technically Cows for Christmas 7, although it is our 8th year. Confusing enough for you? I can confuse that more if you'd like. Anyway, that's the Heifer thing. Look for the link right below in the details section or whatever, and please give a little bit, even if it's only $10 or $15, even if it's only $5. Every little bit helps. We already have 5 cows out of our goal of 7. I try to raise the goal each year in keeping with the Cows for Christmas 7. We're raising 7 cows. We're going to get 7 cows. So we've got 5 of them already. And we're already funded. $3,500 is our goal. The cows cost $500 a piece, and they are young, healthy dairy cows that will last a good long time and give a good amount of fresh milk, which then can be traded for other things. These families end up having something tantamount to a small business. They might end up buying bicycles to get the kids to school, or school supplies, or farm equipment, whatever it is that they can trade their milk for. So that's Heifer. Please give. The next thing is this. We'll be getting to the Trump wall in just a minute here. I want to talk to you about these things here. Let me get the light off of this thing. This is my most recent album. It's called Nothing Left to Lose. This is the best thing I've ever made. But these other albums are also pretty good. This is Shout at the Moon. It's a live album recorded in that theater there in the picture in Sierra Madre Playhouse in Southern California. Funky old theater. We had about 100 people in the audience. And this is the one that I made before that. This is sort of my first one. That's a picture of me with my guitar coming down the steps. And if you look at the cover real closely, you'll see that there's a for rent sign on the wall that says the occupant has become delusional and wandered off. That's my old truck. That is my 68 Chevy Suburban, not Chevy, GMC Suburban, that was for sale at that time. Actually, it was fake for the album cover. I wasn't selling it. Later, I lost it in a quite other way that I got no money out of it. It's a sad story. It always makes me cry, so I'm not going to mention that right now. These are my 3 albums. They are all really good. Oftentimes they've gotten some really great reviews in places like American Songwriter Magazine, where one year I got on the 10 best albums of the year list, sandwiched right in between. That was for their senior editor there, and he sandwiched me right in between Bruce Springsteen and Joni Mitchell. So you'll know that was a while ago that both of those had records on the charts. It was a great honor. I think he was giving me a little bit of extra kindness there, but he particularly likes my stuff and has done what he can to promote me. But I am unpromotable because I don't chase fame. Anyway, that's saying enough things about me. If the thing is, if you want to buy one of these records, I have a whole bunch of these things here as well. And if you want to, just go to my what do they call that? My PayPal, and I will fire one off to you, and it will be $17 because it cost me $2 to it cost me $2 to do it, to mail it, a little over $2 to mail it. So it's a $15 CD, and it will cost you that much. If you buy all 3 of them, I'll give them to you for $12 a piece, and I will eat the rest of the shipping. It costs a little more to ship 3. That's a box, but if you wanted to buy all 3, I would take that as a great compliment, and it would make me very, very happy. But 1 is really plenty, and if I were you, I would buy the new one. If you're going to buy one, buy this one. Nothing left to lose. This is the best thing I've ever done. And so, anyway, the other things are good too. Though the live one has an acoustic band. It's not just me with a guitar stand. There's an acoustic band, and all these records they're fully produced with really good musicians, and we really make sure when we're recording these things that the vibe is in the room. We don't go for technical greatness, although these are all really good technical players, but we go for the energy and the vibe and the feeling of camaraderie that you pick up between musicians. So, please buy that. It would really greatly help me get through my dead season. I'm making no money out here right now, and I'm just living off my savings so that I can continue working. It's very expensive for me to take the time off, and we don't get paid on YouTube. For instance, a recent video, I worked at least 12 hours on the writing and the rewriting. I had to drive then up to Jason's place, which cost me it's about $12 in gas round trip to Jason's. He lives far away, and then the effort we put into it there, and when all was said and done, after that thing reached its amount of views and we got monetized from that, I made $12. So maybe I get $1 an hour for all that work. So I can't live on that. So, but this is, I'm not trying to get you guys to send me any money. I guess I sort of am. But I'd really rather do business with you than to have you donate to us at Giving Fuel, which would be okay too. Anyway, now I want to talk to you about the Trump thing. So I just found out yesterday that Trump has got a GoFundMe thing going for. He's trying to raise money too. No, but it's not him. It's another guy whose name slips my mind. It's prominently featured on the GoFundMe page, and I will also link that below. So the idea is that the people are going to raise the money to put the wall up. Now, the first time I checked in with this thing was yesterday morning. I think there was about 1.2 million raised already at that point. Right before, about half an hour before I sat down to make this video, it was already at 4.5 million, so it's cranking. But I did a little math. You know me, I like, I'm logical. I like to think, well, will this actually work? I mean, it's a great gesture, but will it actually work? So at the time that I looked at it, there was 4,493,290 raised from 73,202 donations. Those are the people that donated. So I did a little math on that, and I figured that was an average gift or an average investment by people of $61.2. So if you were, and the wall is supposed to cost about $25 billion. So if you divide $25 billion by $61.2, you need 408.5 million donations. We don't have that many people in this country, and as you know, fully half this country hates Donald Trump's guts, and a good percentage of the half that likes him are children and doddering old people who are not going to know about GoFundMe. So, but there's nothing to stop it from going worldwide, is there? I mean, Trump is very popular in every kind of Brexit type country. It could be that a lot of euros start pouring in. I don't know. So I'm thinking about this, and of course there's the idea itself. Can the American people raise enough money to build an actual something like a wall? You got to remember there's a considerable amount of that fence already built. I don't know exactly how much it is, but I think it's a couple hundred miles. So I don't know. And there's a lot of places where you really can't cross the border because it's very, very mountainous. So, of course, other people say that's where you really need a wall, because the people that come up here are pretty damn determined. So I don't know what really, I'm perfectly happy myself with the fence, those slat steel fences they're very difficult to climb. They're tall. I'm not really a big wall guy myself. I'm a little bit more of an E-Verify and just solid enforcement guy, and also but I think that the main thing is that as a people, the Americans have not shown resolve. Neither of the parties have had any political will to do this. The left, they're in the early years of not caring for the border, they were doing so because they wanted to prove how not racist they were. I mean, these people just really seriously live to prove how not racist they are. It's really kind of amazing. They're so afraid of being thought racist that they don't do anything lest somebody accuse them of racism. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, you're going to take my car? Oh, okay, well, have fun with it. I hope you have a better outcome in your life. Being that you're a minority, please, here's my car. There's a lot of things that have nothing to do with race that might coincide with race. If a guy's going to home invasion your house, you don't let him in because his ancestors had a hard time. You say, no, these are laws. So it has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It has nothing to do with xenophobia or anything else. It has to do with having a border. It has to do with stabilizing the workforce in this country so that wages can reflect how hard we work. But when you glut the labor pool with cheap labor, people who will not report you if there's bad, if there's safety things going on in the factory or whatever. In other words, Mexican, Honduran, El Salvadoran, Guatemalan immigrants. They don't speak English well. They're not terribly well educated, and they come from countries where there aren't safety regulations nearly so much. So you get people like that in there, and you pay them under the table sometimes, and it's just hard for us blue-collar guys to compete with that. It's terribly hard, and that's why our wages have been depressed for so long. I mean, that's just the facts of the thing. But the Democrats never had any political will for that reason, and face it, the Republicans have never had any political will either, because as much as we are free market people and that we support business, even big business, sometimes big business can be a little crooked. The free market is not known as a moral device. It's an economic device. We need to bring the morality to it ourselves, and there's such a thing as K Street in Washington, where all the lobbyists hang out, and I just think that big business has had way too much influence, or just business in general, on we really like this cheap labor. We really do like this cheap labor, so let's not worry about it too much. This GoFundMe thing is the American people directly getting some skin in the game through their own donations. So even if it's only a symbolic thing, I think it's an important one. I hate the fact that most of you are going to donate to that and not buy my frickin' record. But nevertheless, it's important. You know, I'll squeak through the winter somehow. It's important to show this resolve, just as Brexit was important to show this resolve, just as the yellow vest people in France. Will they get anything accomplished? Who knows? But what they're getting accomplished is they are showing resolve. And it's about time that we started showing resolve on our side in the same way that the Democrats, I mean, for anything. Hey, Trump said something about a vagina. Oh my God, take to the streets, break windows. These people let their resolve be shown always, all the time. They do nothing except show off their resolve. You don't want to question them at the actual demonstration, because usually they don't know exactly what the resolve's about, but they got a shitload of it. So I think it's important for that as a symbolic thing. And I also think it's important in this way. The last few days, many lights, including Ann Coulter, who was probably the first seriously determined Trump supporter. She's the one that predicted before anybody else that Donald Trump would win. And of course, she's a contrarian, you know, so she's going to say things that she knows will get her, get some views on YouTube and get her talked about on the news. But she's bailing on Trump at this point. She's really kind of bailing on him. And a lot of people are. And the idea is that Trump's base will desert him if he does not get the wall passed through. I don't know. I don't know you guys all that well. I don't know that I'm really even Trump base myself. I don't feel that kind of serious kinship with him that I know that some Trump supporters do. I haven't been to a rally yet. That'll tell you that I'm a Trump supporter. I believe in his presidency. I believe in supporting him, and I think he's a good man, basically. But I wouldn't think of myself as like really, you know, one of the three Trumpeteers or whatever. But this is an important moment in American history where people are saying, no, this is our border, and if we have to fund it ourselves, we will fund it ourselves. If there was enough money raised by these people that gave $61 to know that if they give $61 each next year, and the following year, and the following year, which I think everybody in this number would be willing to do, that's money. And if you get enough money, you can build a construction project. Has anything like this ever happened before, where the American people have said, we're funding a construction project? I don't think so. I don't know. Could we fund a small war? This light is kind of going off and on. I don't know what's going on here. But I don't really know what it is. It's kind of a whole new thing, and it's something that I didn't see coming. And the guy that started this GoFundMe page, you know he's going to be on Fox News and all the major networks today. So watch for him. Come back and tell me what you think of him, because I don't have television, as many of you know. And so I'll watch for some videos tonight when I get a little time to settle down after I'm done with my Christmas shopping and whatnot. So I'm going to wrap this up with you guys. I think, what else do I have to tell you? Oh, I did want to mention the video that I posted yesterday. I'm getting a lot of hate. I'm getting a lot of hate on that thing. It was about the life hack for conservatives, where I suggested that if you're talking with somebody at a Christmas party, as I was, actually it was a Thanksgiving party, and the conversation drifts into areas of policy somehow, I try to keep away from politics when I'm in public, just because I don't think that's the place for it. And you find out that the person who you're talking with, who has been utterly kind and interesting and interested in you, and everything's going great, all of a sudden gives you this look and thinks, oh, you're a Republican because of what you've said. And then and usually they will say, are you a conservative? because it's like they can't imagine that. You seem like such a nice person and a normal person. You're a conservative? Then I have the habit of saying, I'm more of a libertarian. And that just glosses over that because they don't care. If you're a libertarian, you know, they don't know what that's about. But I don't want to give the video away because a lot of you didn't watch it, and I want you to go watch it. But I am running up against this thing that oh my, I don't got, I'm a proud conservative and screw them. I'm going to say whatever's on my mind and let them deal with it. Well, this is why we're not winning the hearts and minds of people, is we come off as angry and defensive. There's every reason for us to be angry and defensive because they've been calling us Nazis ever since we were teenagers. And so there's every reason. And as a former Democrat, I left really not so much because I was enamored of the Republican Party or their candidates at the time. I left because I couldn't stand being associated with this nonstop attack mode that I saw on my own side. And now I'm over here and I'm seeing that nonstop attack mode over here as well. And we got to watch out for this. We need to come off as the adults. That does not mean we need to come off as stuffy. We can be fun. We can be hip. I mean, I keep up with things that are happening. I can reference things that are happening in the culture. I think I'm, funny. I'm lighthearted. I play music. This is what conservatives look like too. And so this idea that we have to in some way be wearing, a tight shirt and a suit and then talking about nothing but the Constitution all the time and scolding everybody, that's not it. We need to be part of the popular culture and to have fun. And if we're at a place where where we find ourselves discussing the way that the country is run, and it comes out that we are for small government, that we are more in favor of programs that help people to help themselves than the welfare state. We don't need to be apologetic, but for some reason, if you say libertarian, everybody keeps listening to you. If you say conservative, they stop listening to you. You can hear the doors to their brains just slam shut. You can just hear it's like a crypt. Done. They're not going to listen anymore. That doesn't get the point across. If we don't, as fun-loving and nice conservatives, if we don't educate people about what they've gotten wrong about us, and I don't mean lecture them, I mean let it roll out in conversation. Let the way you behave with them show them one conservative that's great. And by the end of the conversation, they're going to know you're a conservative. It's like everybody knows Rand Paul is a conservative. He calls himself a small L libertarian. He votes in caucuses with the. He's part of the Republican Party. He's a Republican, but he's also a libertarian, small L. And when you make the small L as opposed to the large L, that means that you have libertarian. You have a libertarian part of your overall philosophy, and that would be that mainly it's about liberty, right? But for some reason, as I detail in that video, you can get away with being a libertarian, and they'll keep listening to you. The important thing is that the ideas get out there, not that we do a righteous burn on somebody I told them, and then I skidded out of there. And then I went and shot my gun in the parking lot just to prove to them that I won't be walked on anymore. Don't tread on me, motherfucker. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I've had a lot of blood on my hands in social media from just decimating people over the last few years. And I will tell you, I didn't change any of those minds. But a few of the people hung in there with me, and I gradually cooled my jets and was able to talk with them person to person, and include them in things I was doing. One guy named Matt Bunson, for instance, he had every reason to give me the finger and leave because he would come in and disagree with me, and I was so defensive from all the attacks I'd been under for so long that I would give him shit, and he never really deserved any of that, but he hung in there. And since then we've learned to play music. I painted one of his houses. He has a rental house. I painted his house. He gave me that business. kept me eating for a couple of weeks. Um, he's a thoroughly decent human being. He's not a postmodernist. He's not a progressive. He votes Democrat because he's gotten all this bad impression of us. There's millions of these people that they got that stuck into their heads in high school and college that we are bad, nasty people. The worst thing we can be doing at a holiday party or anywhere else is affirming what they've been told about us by being cranky, argumentative, or dismissive people. That's not showing power. That's not showing power. It's showing, it's, you know, I mean, if we were in caveman days, yes, that's power. But we need the kind of power that comes from votes. We squeaked Donald Trump into office. In spite of what he says, there was nothing resembling a landslide about that victory. That was a squeaker. And it was a squeaker because Hillary Clinton was a really bad candidate, and she didn't take him seriously. She didn't go out there and work as hard as he did. And I think we saw what happened to us in Congress. We lost a lot of seats in Congress. We lost Congress. I mean, we lost the House. We maintained the Senate, but the House is important. We lost it. So it's going to be really bad for us in 2020 if we don't get as many moderates to at least think of us as decent people as possible. That's our role. So in keeping with the same thing, in the same way that there's this GoFundMe page going and everyone is stepping up and saying, no, this is my responsibility as an American citizen. I'm going to fund this thing because I believe in it. Our responsibility, each one of us, and not to get preachy here, but each one of us as a conservative has a duty to talk to the people who don't understand it. Suck it up. Don't be offended. Talk to them and explain as best you can. And if saying I'm a small L libertarian gets you over the hump to have them listen to you, then that's the kind of lie that people say, I won't lie under any circumstances. Well, I understand that value, but if I had just hidden, if a woman is running from a axe murderer and I hide her inside my house and I go to the door and the axe murderer says, are you hiding that woman? I'm trying to get her because I need to finish axe murdering her. I say, no, I haven't seen any such woman. Have good day with your axe murdering. All right, see you later. And then I go, protect the woman. That's a lie, but it's a good lie. It's a good lie. It's the lie in service of a good thing. If you really love Donald Trump, you can't be that specific about never telling a lie. This guy twists the truth all the time. But generally they're good lies because they're lies to fire people up and get us going in the right direction and to draw attention to something that nobody else is looking at. He'll say something and maybe he'll over exaggerate, like exaggerating the shape that Sweden was in, for instance, when he was talking about Sweden that time a year or so ago. And people then they went and did a bunch of research on Sweden and they found out, geez, he's right about Sweden. He's not 100% true on every little fact he said. So that's what I'm saying. I'm here. I'm justifying the small lie of saying small L libertarian. You haven't said it by that I'm not a conservative. You've just said that my conservatism includes a libertarian streak. So, as all conservatism does, I believe. So, I think I'm ready. I've talked long enough. It's a way long video. I hope anybody is still watching, and I'll post this thing, and I hope that you guys do a little bit of business with me, and if not, that you definitely help out Heifer. And if you don't do either of those things, for God's sake, give a little bit to the wall. I will too. If you will do these things, I will give a little bit to the wall. I've already given my $100 to Heifer. I'll give some to the wall as well. Maybe you'll see my name on there. All right, talk to you later.